I've been asked to do a couple of questions on surds involving brackets as well. And the first one to do is to simplify what you can see on the screen. So in one bracket I've got 1 plus root 2, and that bracket is squared. And I'm subtracting another bracket with 1 minus root 2 in it, and that bracket is also squared. So I'm going to do the two brackets separately first of all. So first off I'm going to look at 1 plus root 2 squared, which is the first bracket. If you square something, it means you times it by itself. So that's 1 plus root 2 times by 1 plus root 2. So I'm going to multiply these two brackets together, and then that will give me what this bit up here is. Now there are several ways of multiplying these brackets together. The easiest way is to do the grid method for multiplying. And in one bracket I've got a 1 and a root 2. In the other bracket I've got a 1 and a root 2. What I'm going to do now is multiply those bits together, and I'll get 4 parts of my answer, and then I'll combine those together. So 1 times by 1 is 1. 1 times by root 2 is root 2. Root 2 times by 1 is root 2. And root 2 by root 2 is 2. And if I combine together what I've got here, I've got a 1 plus a 2, which makes a 3. And I've got a root 2 there, another root 2 here, so that's 2 lots of root 2. So the first bracket gives me 3 plus 2 lots of root 2. Now I'm going to do a similar thing on the second bracket over here. And that second bracket was 1 minus root 2, all squared. So that means 1 minus root 2 times by itself, times by 1 minus root 2. And again, if I do the grid method, I've got one bracket has a 1 and a minus root 2. And if it's minus, it's really important you put the signs in here. And the other one, it's a 1 and a minus root 2. And again, I'm timesing these together. So 1 times by 1 is 1. 1 times by minus root 2 is minus root 2. Minus root 2 times by 1 is minus root 2. And minus times a minus will make a plus, and root 2 times by root 2 is 2. Now if I combine these bits, the 1 there and the 2, well that will make a 3. And if I've got minus root 2 minus another root 2, that will give me minus 2 lots of root 2. So what I've done now is I've got one expression for the first bracket. This first bracket is equal to this. The second bracket is equal to this. And if I combine those things, what I had to do was my first bracket, and then I had to take away the second result. So I'm going to put the first bracket's answer down here, and then I'm going to subtract the second bracket's answer here. So that was my first answer, that was this answer, and then I put this answer down here. So this minus sign in front of the bracket applies to everything over there. Now I don't really need these brackets around the first one. So it's 3 plus 2 lots of root 2. Take away 3. Take away negative. So 2 minus signs will make a positive 2 root 2. So if I look at what I've got here, I've got a 3 minus 3. Well, that will give you nothing. They cancel out. And I've got 2 root 2 plus another 2 root 2. The 2 root 2's plus another 2 root 2's give you altogether 4 root 2. And that's the final answer for that question. Second question we've got is slightly more involved. The second bracket is more complicated. So the question is 1 plus root 2 all squared. Take away 2 root 2 minus 2 all squared. Now this first bracket we've already got. We had that last time in the last question we've just seen. We know that that is the same as 3 plus 2 lots of root 2. But we haven't yet worked out this one over here. So I've got 2 lots of 2 square rooted minus the square root of 2 all squared. So that means 2 lots of root 2 minus root 2 times by itself. So I can write that out like that. Now if I use the grid method, which is often the easiest way of multiplying these things together, I need to put 2 root 2 and a negative root 2 along the top, and a 2 root 2 and a negative root 2 along the side, and now I need to do my multiplying. Now when I multiply these together, that 2 times that 2 gives me a 4. That root 2 times that root 2 gives me a 2. Those two bits have to be multiplied together, so in there I'm going to get 8. Over here I've got something positive times something negative, so I will have a negative answer. This root 2 times this root 2 will give me 2. Times it by that 2, I will get 4. So, if I just look at that root 2 and that root 2, timesing those together gave me 2. Timesing that answer of 2 by that 2 gave me 4. And the positive and the negative gave me a negative. Down here I'm going to get the same thing. Minus root 2 times by 2 lots of root 2, same as over there. That will be another negative 4. Then down here I've got a negative times a negative, which is the positive, and root 2 times root 2 is 2. So over here I've got 8, take away 4, which is 4, take away another 4, which is 0, and a 2. So that bracket is just 2. So the question becomes, I'll zoom out a minute, well the first bracket was 3 plus 2 lots of root 2, and I'm taking away the second bracket, which is 2. And 3 take away 2 is 1, and I've still got those 2 root 2's there. So the answer to this question is 1 plus 2 root 2.